Howdy doody everyone, foolish. I am getting sick, Kami here. And my entire release schedule has been kind of destroyed by various factors, which, par for the course, it happens sometimes. So this is gonna be less of like a scripted video, and it's gonna be just me kind of talking about Skyrim and Oblivion and kind of just rambling about it. Because I will say, Oblivion Remake, very good. Good game. Spoiler alert for the end of the video, it does not scratch the same itch that Skyrim scratches for me. Which I don't think is a bad thing. I don't think it's a negative thing. I don't think it's a dig against Oblivion. But I do think that it's kind of conducive to an overall, game design thing. I think inherently that Skyrim and Oblivion are kind of entirely different experiences that you can have in the same world. Maybe even universe, based on how weird the Elder Scrolls timeline and theology is. But I think what a lot of it comes down to, it being what is and is not clicking for me with the Oblivion remake, is that I kind of went into it expecting a elevated version of an old game that people have put above Skyrim for a long time, and because of that, I've been you know what? This game is going to be better than Skyrim. And while it's definitely a deeper game and there's more to do in the game, and the game itself kind of I would say respects the player's time more, it's no Skyrim. And it's not, again, I want to make it super clear, I'm not saying that because the game is bad and because its quality is not the same level of quality as Skyrim. Objectively, the Oblivion remake is a higher quality than the most recent Skyrim drop. I mean, let's look at it from my perspective, right? Lifelong Skyrim player, one of the first games I ever beat, fully beat, even to completion, or as close to completion as you can get in Skyrim as a child. It was Skyrim, it was. Trying to script and make this video has been a bit of a nightmare because I want to make it super clear that I do not prefer one game over the other. It's just, as games and stories and experiences in the Elder Scrolls universe, I'm trying to compare them and contrast them, and I want them to compete. I want to be able to go mechanic for mechanic, but these games are so different that it's kind of hard to. And I will say, objectively, at least, in my opinion, objectively, which is an oxymoron for you academics in the audience, in my objective opinion, the Oblivion gameplay and graphics and most other parts of the game, in reference to the remake, not the original, is better and more enjoyable than Skyrim. But I don't know, it's just being in this world and being oh yes, the Elder Scrolls, it just makes me want to play more Skyrim. And I think that's more of a me thing than it is the game thing. And I'm sure there can be a broader conversation of was Skyrim peak fantasy game for its time and for a while after, and now can anything compete with Skyrim as a fantasy game? The answer is yes. A lot of things compete with Skyrim. A lot of things are better than Skyrim, this included. But there's something in Skyrim's DNA that makes it so just easy to come back to. And that thing isn't really in Oblivion Remake DNA, or the DNA of Oblivion Remake, or the DNA of the Oblivion Remake, or whatever, however way you want to say it. So with all that chicanery or whatever out of the way, let's just get into the video. Let's get into the game. It's been 4 minutes of video. Also, I'm sorry, but this has to just be a me rambling thing, because I cannot get my thoughts together on this game unless I'm actively speaking as I'm seeing. I'm so sorry that the quality of Foolish Kami International has gone down as of late. So yeah, I made my character Guy Norman. I had a whole bit planned for Guy Norman, but I literally... Y'all don't understand the strife this video has caused me. But I'm done talking about that now. So, Guy Norman, we're in the sewers, we're in the prison, we're doing whatever. In comes Emperor Septim, the whatever, if... And already I knew this game was gonna be gorgeous and amazing, but this really kind of sold it for me. Like, I can see every wrinkle and every hair follicle on this old geezer's face, and the quality is high enough where it does make me like mildly uncomfortable. It does have that uncanny valley feeling, which the original Oblivion has, Skyrim has, all the Elder Scrolls game have this like weird uncanny valley, like strange looking people problem. And even in Starfield it's like that. This is like a day one thing that I think might just be part of the DNA. Speaking of DNA, DNA, do not associate with guys that look like this. This is terrifying. So yeah, we're sent off into the sewers not after the President Emperor guy. We're told, hey, don't go, don't follow us, please. Just step back. We're gonna go ahead. Go ahead, bud. Don't follow us though. Don't follow us. Don't do it. So clearly, you know, the video game thing to do is to follow them. He gets assassinated. Everyone cries. It's very sad. I steal a sword from one of the blades. They take it away from me. There's part of the intro where like you go into a side area and fight like big rats and zombos. Not zombos, but goblinos. I didn't like that part. I wasn't a big fan of that. Give me like actual enemies, please. And like, I know this is one of those things where it's like Elden Ring brain rot for me, where it's like I now have to play a tutorial. That's kind of cringe. I don't want to do that. Play a tutorial. Play the game you want. Play the game in the way you want me to play it. But like, also, you know, those Oblivion compete with Skyrim. Skyrim did the same thing, kind of. Not exactly the way Oblivion did it. Oblivion's intro and tutorials are much more like this is an intro and tutorials. Skyrim's is more like, hey bud, have fun exploring everything. Your health is low. Your stamina's low. Your magic's low. Okay, we're never gonna bring any of this back up again. The way Skyrim introduces you to its mechanics is kind of like a parent that doesn't care about you. So like you have a lot of freedom, but you don't really know what you're doing in life and like how to be safe and like smart about your choices. Oblivion is like a parent that does care about you and goes through a lot of depth and detail about what you can do, what you should do, how to do things in a smart way, what abilities you can have from birth, etc., etc. But it's like they care about you so much that it's kind of like overwhelming, because there's a lot of information that's densely packed into this first like hour of the game. And again, that's more of like a relic of its time thing. Because the thing about Oblivion, especially the remake, is that it's old. The remake is technically old because it's built off of the original Oblivion game, which is old. It's almost like 16 years old. It's an old game. It's actually probably older than 16 years old. I don't know. It's an old game, all right? It's an old game. And back in the era where Oblivion was made, that was normal. It was normal to have these long-ish, complicated-ish tutorials where it's like, hey player, here's the stuff you can do in our game. Enjoy that. Have fun with that. Okay, bye. We love you. Bye. Be safe. Text us. Make sure Life 360's on. Text us. Which I feel like just for me, in my like ADHD brain rotted brain, which by the way, diagnosed ADHD, not TikTok diagnosed ADHD baby, real diagnosed ADHD baby. In my brain rotted brain, I want to be able to boot up a game. You tell me everything I need to know about the story, and I can go forth and explore and do what I would like to do, and then get lost and look up guides as to what to do. The older I get, the less I like hand-holding experiences in gaming. The older I get, the less I like Assassin's Creed 2, for the same reason. I'm kind of spending a long time on this, so I'm going to wrap this thought up and then move on, but I don't know. It's just like, Oblivion respects my time, but doesn't respect my intelligence, it feels like sometimes. Like, yeah, I know that I'm low on health, and I know you gave me a button to press to use my healing spell. I used it in the first moment of the game when I was pressing buttons to see what did what. I do not now need a elongated portion of time after the fact telling me what to do in very specific ways. And I'm just gonna say it, I think the like star sign system and the like birth moon zodiac thing, and also like having to go to bed to level up, I kind of don't like those aspects. There is something kind of glorious about being able to level up while you're like in the middle of a game, and you can just like press that pause button and you can just level up, get better, full health, keep it moving. Now there's a whole like strat in Fallout and Skyrim mentioned again. There's a whole strat where, you know, not even a strat, but it's like a thing you can do. If you didn't know this, here's a thing you can do. If you just like save your level up for when you're in like a tough situation, you can just use it, get to full health, and then continue fighting in the game. And I know that like from a technical standpoint, Oblivion not having this in it and it instead being like you need to survive not just this fight that you leveled up in, but the rest of your play session leading up into you finding a bed and going to sleep to level up is kind of like okay, yeah, well in real life you would reflect on what you've learned throughout the day and throughout your travels in an actual like realistic scenario. However, the first major enemies I fight in this game are shape-shifting assassins, goblins, massive rats, and literal zombies. And this kind of brings me to my next thing of quote-unquote realism. Skyrim is a game that I would say is not very realistic at all, and it doesn't really try to be. And things like Frostfall or other things you can add to the game via modding or whatever else you want to do to make it more like realistic in quotation marks. It's truly all optional, which is amazing. Give me options in my game. Give me choices to make about the game that will affect the way that I play, please. On the other hand, we have Oblivion, which it's like it's trying to be realistic in a fantasy way, and that maybe it's a me thing. Again, maybe everything I'm saying in this video, have said and will say, just comes down to me not really clicking with the game. Maybe I'm just not the target audience for this game. Because the realism is like, okay, well, if you're gonna make me, you know, do the actual things that relate to my levels to level up so that I can, like, get experience or whatever, and then go to bed so I can, you know, think about what I've done and like make myself better. If you're gonna make me do all that, then why does the sword move at the speed of sound whenever I'm swinging it? That's not realistic. Why are there goblins? Like, what is the point of realism in that regard if you're not gonna bring it in other regards? I'm sure there's a whole conversation to be had about what should and shouldn't be realistic in video games, but in my mind, having like just an experience system for the most part be based on quote-unquote reality and quote-unquote realism. Meanwhile, all my stats and numbers and abilities are predetermined-ish by a star sign or how I choose to play, and at the same time, there's assassins that can shapeshift and goblins and rats and zombies. And the main story is that a demon from literal hell is trying to take over the actual world by getting the bastard son of the king. Like, everything comes together in this way where, like, it's not conducive to a good time for me. But all that being said, the Oblivion remake is still a very good game. Just on its bones by itself, it's an amazing experience. It's really fun, it's very in-depth, it's very detailed. In fact, the detail in the Oblivion remake doesn't just like go toe-to-toe with Skyrim or whatever, it greatly surpasses it. This game is laughably better than any release of Skyrim, just ever. On like a gameplay, you know, scale and like how fun it is and how nice it looks and how nice it is to be in the world. But I don't know, like, again, like, just for me, it's kind of, it's like, it's in my brain. It's like scratching at the walls of my brain. It's like, you want to play Skyrim though, don't ya? I'm going to end it with this because I think I've reached my limit for talking for the day because I'm still kind of sick. The remaster of Oblivion is objectively better than Skyrim, but I am a fool who is blinded by nostalgia and a time long since past of gaming. I don't know if this was a video that got my point across. I don't know what this video even really ended up turning out to be, but if you watched it, thank you. I appreciate you. Be safe, have fun, and I will see you later.